Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen ARTERBURN. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're with us here today and joining me, Mylan Yurkovich and Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, guys.
Hey, great to be with you.
Folks, we're fired up. We're ready and excited to help you.
Yep. You know, fact is, many of you have ordered things from China, and they're still on those barges out there in the ocean. And I'm going to help you out here because we do not have any gifts on barges in the ocean. You could buy a Bible, and we'll send it to somebody for you. Great gift. A devotional Bible or a study Bible, Life Recovery Bible, Every Man's Bible, Restoration Bible, any of those Bibles. We could send a devotional in your name to these people.
Yeah, you don't have supply chain issues, do you?
No supply chain, no chain issues, nothing. Or you could say, Bucky and Barbara, we're going to give you a gift of intimacy and marriage scholarship, or anything like that. We can solve this supply chain dilemma by taking your request off the chain and supply you with great devotional books and Bibles and resources for you to give to people and literally put something into their lives. Who needs, an Apple Watch? Okay, some people might, but I'm just saying there are things that would really help a person turn things around, and I hope and pray you'll think about us. Also on Amazon, you can do that little smiley thing. What is it? Amazon Smiles. And when you buy stuff on Amazon, then a portion of it, they give it to New Life. So love that too. Mm-hmm. But we love you. We care about you. And to that end, I do have a free sheet for you, 10 ways to beat the holiday blues. And one of them is to decide to get in touch with somebody that you lost contact with and reestablish contact. I mean, it's never been easier, sadly in some cases, to get in contact or recontact folks. And so do that. But that's one of the 10 tips in 10 ways to beat the holiday blues. Mylan, you tend to be depressed a lot. How do you beat the holiday blues? No, I'm kidding. You're not depressed. But what do you do that is kind of a spirit lifter for you when it just comes to celebrating with family and your wife and friends? Anything you come to mind?
Yes. This may sound kind of corny and geeky, but I don't let myself get too high or too low. Like when the holidays are coming, I don't say this is the best time of the year. I'm so excited, and because the higher your expectations, the further you fall.
That's so true.
So I allow myself to simply enjoy the time of celebrating. We went to a great church service on Saturday night. Heard a great speaker, and it was Ann Voskamp, by the way.
Oh, wow.
She was amazing. And, just to enjoy it and to realize this is a special time. We had a great time with the New Life Party last week. And we had family over last night. And just to enjoy it, but then to just allow yourself to stay sort of in the middle of the spectrum rather than the highs and the lows.
Dave Stoops' books, the ones you'd find in the airports, were on self-talk. And I think that's a way of, not letting yourself get too high or too low, or the things that you say to yourself, that internal dialogue. Hey, come on now, let's just relax, or let's just be grateful. The gratitude emotion is one way to beat those blues, to focus on it and be grateful. We'll be back.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Southern California February 11th to the 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve ARTERBURN.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve ARTERBURN here. I think if Sobi is on, watches us on YouTube all the way from Hungary. Is that true, Sobi?
Oh, my.
Is that right?
Yes, it's true. Yep.
Well, I wish I'd seen that earlier. You have been holding a while. I would have gotten to you in the previous program that we did, but I'm glad you're here now. Thank you for holding on. And how are things where you live?
Oh, it's okay. Well, it's quite okay. The weather is not that bad.
Okay. Well, how could we help? We do want to help you.
Oh, thanks. I started working with a therapist 7 months, and today was our last session. And I wanted to improve my self-esteem. And we talked about family dynamics, what happened in the past, and the psychologist said that it seems that I'm still comfortable in my present situation. And we have to end our work, or
What does that mean? That you're comfortable in your situation? Are you in a bad situation? You're not willing to change, or just hard to find things to work on when you're in session?
No, well, lack of motivation. It's like I'm avoiding doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that, for example, he doesn't see the grief in me regarding the past. If I could be more emotional and grieve the past, then maybe I could move on to have something better. And in a way, he's right, because I'm comfortable in a job that's not that difficult. I work from the apartment. Sometimes I remember I didn't do my homework when he said, like, write down what's stopping you to have a relationship with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot the homework. This means something. But still, there is some kind of pressure on me to change, and for some reason I don't want this, or I'm not doing the things I should do.
Okay. Is there a specific question you have for us?
What can I do with this internal pressure?
Okay.
It's like, on one hand, I feel comfort. I don't want to move out from this comfort zone, but on the other hand, I know I need to change.
Okay. So, Alice, let's talk to Alice here. Alice, if you had been seeing him and he kind of reached this point he's at, what would be your response?
Well, I would wonder, Sobi, if it upset you that your therapist ended with you, and if you have considered trying again with somebody else or a different modality.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. But there's one question I couldn't answer, and my therapist asked me, what's stopping you to say out, what do you want? I don't know what kind of job I want. Don't really have a vision of what I want to do on a professional level.
Well, Sobi,
I just can't answer these questions.
You're in a very understandable situation, because most of us want to change, But we have all kind of obstacles that keep us from getting into the deep work that would actually result in change. And it's the human struggle that we want something better, but we keep doing the same thing that is keeping us stuck. And it will require perseverance on your part. So you could just settle now. No, I'm not in therapy. My therapist ended it. Or you could choose to fight this next battle of finding the next therapist. And I want to suggest a different treatment modality. I think EMDR, a kind of therapy, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing would help, because it helps you get below the surface level to some of those deeper beliefs that you have about yourself that may be holding you back from answering that question your therapist posed. And it can lead you to breakthrough. So I want you to try again.
Yeah. Mylan, what are your thoughts here?
Sobi, how old are you?
32.
Okay. And did you have other people making decisions for you a lot as you were growing up and through adolescence, or a home where there was a dominating individual where you simply had to comply?
Yes, we talked about this. I made even a family. I draw my family, and the conclusion was that I am the servant in the family. I serve everyone.
Right. And so when you ask a servant, what do you want? They go, I'll take the leftovers. I'll take whatever you don't want, And so servants don't ask for things. They just give and give and give. So when you say, do I want to change? I was going to ask the same question you said your therapist was going to ask. Change for what reason? What is it that you would like to have different? Well, I'd like to maybe have a different career and identity, and then I'd also like to have a different relationship, with someone. You talked about building self-esteem. That was your original statement when you called. And it's going to require doing things, not thinking about it. Alice is right. You're going to have to move in directions and keep moving, because when we are stalled out, nothing changes. So movement is key. Experimenting, going and trying new things. You know what? You're going to have to change by trying things and allowing other people to teach you and get exposed to things to see what you're interested in, and then stretch yourself.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you.
My therapist said that it seems that I'm waiting for I'm waiting for someone to push me.
Yeah. Well, and I think
child position.
I think he or she may be right. So that's why servants. What do servants wait for? Somebody to tell them what to do.
But there is enough initiative within you, Sobi, that you got the therapist in the first place.
And then he called here.
Exactly. You also need some supernatural intervention, because you may be, maybe you're not tapping enough into the help that God wants to provide for you. And I want you to consider deepening and increasing your spiritual practices, because that really is what gets us over the hump of I just want to, but I'm not ready yet to do the sufficient work to change.
Sobi?
Yeah.
What's so great about everybody else?
What do you mean? What's so great about everybody else?
Well, if you have low self-esteem, then you're comparing yourself to other people. And I was just wondering what you thought is so great about them that isn't in you. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
I mean, is it that you think they're competent and you're not, or they're confident and you're what is it that's so great about everybody else that you don't have?
I have the feeling that many people feel what they want. They want to become a doctor. They want to become an IT.
Yeah. Okay. So
I don't have such.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I don't think you're low on self-esteem. I think you're low on steam. You don't become a doctor by wanting to be a doctor. You become a doctor by working. and getting it by being willing to do whatever it takes. And so first of all, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to do, and know why I want to do it. And then you have to become willing to do it. And if I was you, I would be getting maybe even coaching on how do I get from this point in my life to the next point in my life. You can solve the mysteries along the way, but you're 32 and there are things you want. You don't feel good about yourself because you're not moving toward the things you want. I really think if we don't have the steam or the power in us, we need people around us that can encourage us and help us see what the next step is. I can't do everything, but I can do one thing to make my life better today. You picked up the phone to call us, and that's a big next step. But don't let that be the last step. You know, they say the first step is the hardest. It is until you take it, and then the next step is the hardest. So let's take the next step. Yep. And what would that be? I really think it's looking at the issues and the past and things and grieving, just like has been pointed out, but it's also, where am I going to find a partner, a coach, a sponsor, a mentor that's going to help me get to the next step? Alice, your thoughts here?
2 additional steps, Sobe. One is, I hear a flat affect on your part, and I don't think you feel the full range of emotions, and that could be linked to depression. And so you may need psychiatric intervention and antidepressant to help you access your full range of emotions. Consider that. And the other one is emotional freedom is coming up, and it's online, so even you could attend from so very far away.
No, that's right.
And we would link you into a group if you so choose after the weekend, and so you'd have some built-in community that would help keep the momentum of this call going, because we need to get energy sometimes from the outside when we're stuck in a rut, and that would help you do that.
You know, I have another thing I wanted to say, because I think when you are in a servant modality, you might really be facing fear at risk and fear at extending yourself, because I really want you to address, what am I afraid of? And failure, or the possibility of high levels of criticism from your family of origin, or from believing others would criticize you. That is what keeps us pulled in, kind of like a turtle. You know, we don't risk if we sense any danger. So really explore the fear and taking risks and being willing to fail. I have failed in multiple times where I have attempted to do things career-wise that didn't work. And we have to be able to risk and risk failure in order to succeed. And so I really want you to think about that. And then I would agree with Alice that you do sound flat, and perhaps an antidepressant could be of help. It helped me.
Me too, Sobe. Me too.
Helped me.
Yeah. Me too. I started my freshman year of college. I was already on antidepressant medication, and I'm so grateful they're so much better than they were back then. But I'll tell you, here's what we need to avoid in life, is the fatal excuse. And I think this is what Alice was saying. Try another counselor. Try another way of being counseled versus use this counselor being finished with you as an excuse to not get counseling, saying, well, I tried it, it didn't work for me. That's a fatal excuse right there. It could prevent you from becoming everything that you want to become. Now, I've got a Life Recovery Bible I'm going to send you, because that's a growth program in there. And in Hungary, there are 12-step recovery groups right there in Hungary, wherever you are. They're everywhere, all over the world. And the other thing I'm going to send is the workbook on grieving. It helps you go through the steps and grieve the losses that maybe there's ungrieved loss. And boy, is there ever a lot of ungrieved loss in the Christian community, because we just say, oh, forgive them, or oh, get over it, and we miss that step. And then I'm also just to up our shipping and postage to Hungary, I'll send you The Soul of a Hero, the last book that Dave Stoop and I wrote. Really glad that you called. Glad that you could watch us on YouTube. We encourage everybody, go to YouTube, watch us, and subscribe there, and tell somebody else about it too. Pass along the video feed to somebody else. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more phone calls here on New Life Live, 1-800-229-3000. And we are definitely getting close to Christmas. And we will rush whatever it is you order today. We'll get it to you. And if you support us, we'll send you, as our way of saying thank you, this 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. Brand new devotional book. And it'll take you right through April. Or maybe the end of March, kind of the middle of April, somewhere around in there. All right, we'll take a break. Come right back after this.
My husband was involved with pornography addiction. He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. We're strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 25th to the 27th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Milan Yurkovich. Dr. Alice Benton is here. And, you know, I said it before, but it is smile.amazon.com where you can designate New Life as your charity and a little bit of what you spend there will come to us. We'd love for you to do that. And then also, don't forget this. Every Man's Battle is January 7th, 8th, and 9th in Washington, D.C. When you register before the 27th of December, you save $200 on that. Let's go to Star. Star's calling from Portland, Oregon, and she listens on the New Life app, and anybody else could. Hey, Star, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing all right. Thanks for being part of Club New Life.
Oh, yeah.
They told me you
went
were.
To a marriage encounter 6 years ago or so, and yeah, ever since we've been a Club New Life member.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yeah. How could we help today?
Yeah. Well, my question I'll start with that, and there's so many questions you could ask me, and so I'm hoping I know this will be a God-led conversation. So my question is, how can I be the best supportive grandmother to my 15-year-old granddaughter who came to live with me last June after we hadn't seen her for 13 years.
Oh, my goodness. Why hadn't you seen her for 13 years?
Her father, my son, it turned out is schizophrenic. And when he started to fall apart, her mother felt it was best to withhold her from him and us.
Wow, that's rough.
And
So how's it going?
Pretty good. She's complicated. Part of the reason that she's with us is because she's had some pretty serious mental health issues. She's bipolar. She spent 4 months in a mental hospital. She's had suicide ideation, abandonment issues. But in general, as far as just, a teenager, she's acclimating, quite well. But her situation is so complicated that I just can't. I just want to be the best for her that we can be, my husband and I.
Wonderful.
What happened to her mother that she then came to live with you?
Her father, my son, lives here locally in an apartment by himself, has for a couple of years. So he's schizophrenic, and he's on disability. And he is around. He comes around. He'll be over today, later.
But what happened to her mother?
Her mother? Her mother, the boyfriend said, it's me or her.
Oh, and she picked her boyfriend over her daughter. Oh.
Yes,
wow.
yes. And then she was kind of raised by a stepdad who adopted her, and she couldn't be there either because Dad's new girlfriend has pregnant, and it's super, super messy and complicated.
And what structured help do you have your granddaughter in right now?
Everything that I could think of. So she's seeing a therapist weekly. She's got a prescriber that she sees via telemed, and that's the basic stuff, yeah.
And what makes you think you're not doing enough for her?
I don't know about enough. So, I'm her grandparent. I'm not her mother. I'm not her therapist. But I'm involved in her life in a way that I want it to make a difference. So I just want to be the best I can be for her. So, for instance, my philosophy is more, she's been criticized a lot. She's been controlled a lot. And so I want her to make as many choices as possible. So I'm not hands off, but I want her to, encouraging her to make her own decisions, including, with her technology, and I'm having to make all those decisions that I made 20 years ago with my kids.
But it is different 20 years later.
It
is very different.
Yeah.
And she may not have the structure to be able to make healthy decisions about social media and things like that. Mylon, what are you thinking here that might be helpful?
Star, a lot of the things you're saying sound wonderful. In other words, you are calling the show, but you've got a great heart to want to be the best grandmother you can be, and your husband as well. I think being patient with her, realizing that the formative years for your granddaughter's life were formative, absolutely, but in a chaotic, disorganized way. I would study. Have you read our book, Star, How We Love?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I have that book.
Okay, the section chaotic, disorganized is undoubtedly what your granddaughter grew up in. If she had a schizophrenic dad and a mom who, you said, she has abandonment issues, et cetera, et cetera. But asking her questions and empathizing, but helping her understand her history. One of the most important things that we can do is to create an autobiographical sketch of ourselves, which helps to explain who and what we are and why we are reactive the way we are. So if in fact your granddaughter took the love style quiz at howwelove.com and she was able to see, I understand why I go to a therapist, why I have a practitioner that prescribes medication. It gives her an answer for what she's experiencing.
We'll be back.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, I completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., January 7th through the 9th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and so many wonderful grandparents taking care of grandchildren. And Alice, you had a thought there at the break for Star.
Well, Star, I just finished writing a book, Understanding and Loving Your Child in a Screen-Saturated World. So I want to speak to giving your granddaughter autonomy in the area of her screen use. It's very good that you're sharing decision-making power with her, but I want you to be very cautious about how much power, especially unmonitored or unsupervised, you give her on her screens. So I'm just going to give you 3 suggestions. One is to make sure that her screens have a monitoring app. And there are a lot out there, but I can highly recommend Bark. I can highly recommend Covenant Eyes, which will give you information about the kind of things she's saying and accessing online, especially with a history of suicide, because there is such a culture that promotes suicide online and promotes self-harm. And if you're not aware of that, she can easily get sucked into it.
Absolutely.
And then if she has access to her screens, it should be linked to leverage. By that I mean, I think children should have access to screens as long as they're being respectful, obedient, kind, and appreciative. And as soon as they're not being those things, I think that they should lose their access to the screens because it's such a great motivational tool. And lastly, social media. I would recommend delaying her use of social media, because what we're seeing is that, especially for girls her age, they are so vulnerable to increases in depression and anxiety when they're using social media, especially if they have large numbers of friends. Because 2 things tend to happen on social media. There's the comparison that either leads to pride and arrogance, that I'm better than everybody else, or the lowering of self-esteem, that I'm worse than everybody else because of what they're seeing online. So watch out for those 3 areas for your granddaughter.
Yeah, she needs you, and we love it that you're helping her. I'm going to send you How We Love Our Kids and How We Love Both. Mylan, your thought there?
Yes, Star, you talked about she had a lot of control over her, and so you're not wanting to exert control too much. So, but I'd like to make a distinction between unhealthy, chaotic, disorganized control versus a loving structure. And a loving structure has intention associated with it that is for the best of your granddaughter, as Alice is saying. There is a reason for it, and it's to care for her. What she was subjected to in the past was not healthy. And the other thing I might educate yourself on, Star, is the Adverse Childhood Experience scoring system, which is, you can just Google it, Google ACE, A-C-E, and to try and do an assessment as to what is her ACE score, because the higher the ACE score, the more difficult and challenging life is going to be. And for a 15-year-old, it's already challenging, for teenagers. I have 3 granddaughters right now in that age range. So it's not easy. So I really want to encourage you to really help her understand how powerful her history has impacted her, but she doesn't have to be defined by it in the future, but it did shape her to this point.
All right, we'll send you How We Love and How We Love Our Kids, and also I want to go ahead and send you this 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. I really think that is a helpful book. But, Mylon, you mentioned chaotic and hectic, and Larry Sonnenberg has entered the studio. And let me finish, and there's nothing chaotic or hectic about Larry. And Larry, so welcome to the studio. Hi,
you.
How are you?
Doing great, thank you. I read a lot of testimonies here, and I want to read just a little one to two sentences over several different testimonies, just kind of plug this thing.
Okay.
This was a marriage workshop. This workshop's unlike any other we've been to, and we've been to 14 marriage workshops altogether.
Wow, 14.
14. And then there's an Every Man's Battle one. This has been a great workshop for me. I'm confident I'll be set free from the shackles that have kept me bound for many years.
Love that.
Yeah, then Restore. I think that's, okay. Whether you've been dealing with this issue for years or just found out about it, get yourself to Restore. Not for him, not for your marriage, but for you. I've tried everything under the sun, but this is different. And then radio. I've listened to you for years. Must say your show's played a major role helping me gain new life, especially emotionally and mentally. Today, 8 years after hearing you for the first time, I'm so thankful for the tools, standards, and guidelines you provided for living a full life.
There you go. Unbelievable. That's what people are supporting us for, and we never get tired of hearing these transformation testimonies, ever.
Well, and one last one that just, we're talking about giving here a little bit. Woman had sent her husband Every Man's Battle. He was almost arrested for his sexual disintegrity. She says, it's been several years without a slip. I had already started supporting you financially, but after the amazing change in my husband, we decided to become Club New Life members.
I love that.
Folks, it's year end, and generosity seems to abound at year end. And if you can be extra generous to New Life, it will help change some folks' lives, and it will mean so much. Christmases will be different forevermore when people experience what they've experienced for New Life, and their family relations are better.
And we can't do it without you, but when you join us in doing it, every transformed life, you get to feel like you're part of that.
Amen.
You did it, and some been a tough year. Others have been blessed beyond measure. Please help us in any way that you possibly can. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And to say thank you, I'll send you 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. We love this devotional book. It is brand new. Larry, anything else you want to say?
No, just I want to say thank you to everybody who's given all year long. And it's hard to express gratitude through the airwaves like this, but just know we appreciate it. You're loved, and you're making a difference in the lives of a lot of people.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, please do. Let's go to Kate from Columbus, Ohio, and she watches on YouTube also. Hi, Kate. How are you today?
Hi, YouTube and New Life member also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wondering if maybe I can call back in when Dr. Sherry's there.
You could, but let us take a stab at it ourselves here, and we'll pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll start with my question, and then, of course, provide some context, and I'm sure you'll have other questions. My question is, am I being unreasonable asking a formerly or currently porn-addicted husband for a lie detector test when his first discovery of his addiction was back in 2012, and he did in 2013 attend Men in the Battle, and I attended Women in the Battle. So it's been 8 years since he's had his only one lie detector test.
And why would you want him to take it now after all this time? What's going on that makes you want it?
Yeah. Well, he's had covenant eyes on both of his devices until October. And in October, he received a used laptop from his brother-in-law and loaded his Gmail account onto that laptop. And for over 2 years, he had been receiving a lot of junk mail, sex solicitation junk mail to other kinds of spam going into his junk mail. And at that point, I had never seen on his other two devices, when he was using those other two devices, those blue dots that are on emails indicating that they've not been opened. I'd never seen any blue dots missing. Mm-hmm. And it's the day or the evening that he had loaded his Gmail account onto this laptop, for the next 7 days, I saw sex solicitation emails of certain styles that were being consistently without the blue dots, as well as 3 other ones that were topics that looked like they would have been of interest to him.
What was his explanation? Mm-hmm. What was his explanation for that?
Absolute denial.
Yeah, Alice, what was your question there?
Same thing. I'm sad and angry, Kate, that you are even having to ask, is it unreasonable to ask for a lie detector? You've got the history and you've got denial.
Okay, and the other thing, too, is the level of anger. What's really difficult about this is, I think I can stand my ground, but I also know that this is probably going to mean divorce for me. We've been through a long haul of a lot of counseling, a lot of physical abuse early on in our 27-year marriage. We're both in our 60s now. And early on, a lot of emotional covert ever since then, and we are dealing with, and have since 2016, a counselor who is very trauma-informed and abuse-informed.
So, Kate, think over. No, I'm going to interrupt you. Because I need you to think over the break. What is it about you that keeps you tolerating and questions your judgment and your radar that says something's still wrong here? I need to do something about it.
By the way, is this Kay? Who's speaking with me? Kay?
This is Alice.
Alice.
Benton.
Okay.
Well, hold on. We're going to go to this break, and we'll get back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve ARTERBURN, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we are talking with Kate, and really in a bad place with her husband. And Alice, you, before we went to break, you asked a question there.
So, Kate, what is it about you that's so questioning your judgment? And I think your tendency is to tolerate and to put up with things for too long.
Well, you've nailed it, Alice, and I know that well about myself. I've been through a lot of counseling and a lot of support groups through some of the, destructive marriage support groups and counselors. I think I know from studying attachment. I have attachment issues. There was no secure attachment in my youth or in my growing up time. I am 66 years old, and I have no children or grandchildren, and I did assist my parents as they aged and declined. So that's of concern. Financially, I would be okay divorcing as long as he doesn't get nasty. I would be fine.
But he's likely to get he's likely to get nasty, isn't he?
Well, yeah, because he's very he lacks empathy. He does not respond to my needs.
And so Kate, does a part of you want to just keep your head down because divorcing may be worse than what you have in your marriage?
Yeah, but I'm to the point where I am involved legally, and he knows I'm involved legally with financial separation and possibly divorce. So, and our counselor that I'm so worried about, who has kind of taken a turn here from being very supportive now that she's counseling both of us, and I know that's not good with the type of personality I'm dealing with. She's colluding more with him, but her perspective is lie detector tests don't help after the first year.
So she's advising you against the lie detector test.
Yeah. And
well,
for
I think
me, it's like we're almost to the point of reconciling because we've both been through a lot of counseling, but then this happened in October. And so I'm like, okay, this may be the hill I have to let this marriage die on because I'm not being heard that I need this level of honesty. If he really, to me, it's like if he really didn't do it, if it's some tech issue or something, if he really didn't do it, then he should not be raging against it. He should be willing to do it to prove himself innocent.
So let me just jump in here.
Even if he did do it, go.
Well, the balance is a man who has a sexual integrity problem. We want them to be at a place that they would be willing to do anything to show that they have sexual integrity. Even if it's take a lie detector test, we want them to be that willing. The balance of that is that we want the woman to see that that doesn't solve anything. That if you prove that he hasn't been totally or doesn't have full integrity, well, if that's what you need to leave, that's one thing. But better to get into a like come to our marriage intensive, do the work together to find out wherever you are, where do we go from here to get the marriage that we both literally at some point thought we were going to have. Mylan, what are you thinking as you hear this? Because it's a complicated issue, and willingness is at the heart of it sometimes.
Well, what saddens me here, Kate, is that for all the counseling you've been through and all the work you guys have done, I don't hear of any emotional closeness and intimacy that is emotional, cognitive, friendship, fun.
Right.
I don't hear any of the bonding words that I'm listening for, and because when two people are bonded well together, you don't need a lie detector because I know you and you know me, and it's very hard to lie to the person with whom I have a deep, bonded, and rooted, emotionally intelligent relationship. So I'm sad to hear that. I do think, Kate, instead of having to head for divorce, that if you came, and this is a real plug here for our workshop in February, it's warmer here in California in February than it is in Columbus, Ohio. So if you said to your husband, let's go to the workshop in Columbus, we will teach you how to have emotionally focused conversations. And with that is the potential of your husband having more empathy for you and your needs.
And I'm actually worried about you, because if your husband is reacting in anger over these emails and there's an unwillingness to take a lie detector test, then I'm afraid of what he's doing right now. And this is during the process of reconciliation. This is when he should be putting his best foot forward and humbly willing to do whatever it takes. So I'm going to say something risky. I want you to consider what position comfort has in your life and what position money has in your life, because I think you're sacrificing your well-being to maintain the financial stability, of your marriage, but you're sacrificing your well-being. So consider that, please.
Well, and I want to throw in a little different angle here. I would like for you to assume that he just took a lie detector test and he failed. If you proceed with divorce, the research says in 5 years, you're still going to be more miserable than if you could both work on it by staying together and have a different path to healing, that's going to be a better way. So what would you do if he flunked the test and you said, let's see if there's anything we could do to pull it together? And that's what I would be asking him to do now. I would go more for how do we repair this thing versus let me verify that I'm right. And if you get the right kind of program together, which would mean he would go to Sex Addicts Anonymous every week, he would be in a life recovery group, or he'd go to Every Man's Battle again. You guys would go to the marriage intensive. And 6 months from now you decide, do you need the lie detector test still? And if you do, if there's been no growth after you've jumped in and he's willing, then there's your hope, and your help is gone because he's not willing to do anything. But my belief is, if you come down on here is what it's going to take for us to fix this marriage, he just might be willing to come along and do the repair work. I'm really for horrible marriages that can get better staying together. I'm for it. And if he could be willing, that would be the key. Wow, it's tough situation. I'm going to send you a couple of things. I'll send you Every Man's Marriage for both of you to look at what a mutually submissive relationship is, where he would be motivated if he was in a mutually submissive relationship. He'd be motivated to provide security to you, and you would be motivated to help him do whatever he needs to do. There's no dictator, doormat marriage laid out in the Bibles that I read. Anyway, I'm going to send that to you, and I'm going to send him an Every Man's Bible. You give that to him. And a lot of wives say the husband never read the Bible till they got that one. Oh, boy. Well, we're kind of finishing the program here on a tough call. But if another person is willing to do some new things, I hope you'll encourage them to do it no matter what you've been through. See if they're real this time. Help us if you can, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But more than anything, you call us for help at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thanks, Alice. Thanks, Mylan. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.